I've been playing role-playing games for a while now. I've been a game master for many campaigns, and I have also been in many campaigns where other people are running it, so I've had many game masters. And so there's lots of different opinions and approaches to how to manage information. The whole problem of like controlling out of character information and in character information. Now, I've spoken at some length about my opinions on maintaining player agency, maintaining transparency with the players, and all that kind of thing. So I don't want to rehash that ground, but I do have something new to add to this specific part of the topic, which is that table talk, that is specifically players talking to other players out of character to strategize or to coordinate their character's actions. I'm not talking about table talk like they're losing the subject or chatting about other things. That's a whole other issue. You can deal with that yourself. No, this is out of character talk about in character action and the transfer of information. Now, obviously, players have a responsibility to act based on their character's knowledge. So if one player is conveying information to another player that their character does not possess, and their character cannot communicate in the given situation, like let's say they're separated, there's a wall between them. Yeah. The DM, I would say, is well within his rights to step in and say, hey, you actually don't know that. Don't use that information. And it is the player's responsibility to comply and find another route to solve whatever problem it is that they're trying to solve. But in a normal situation, like you're in a battle and you're all like within line of sight, you're coordinating with each other to win the battle. You're making strategic moves. Like, okay, I'm going to move here. And then someone else says, well, actually, I was going to move there on my turn. Can you get over here? Or can you go somewhere else? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get, instead I can just go over here. This sort of, playing it like a strategy game, which D&D often is during combat. And that's true of any edition, not just 4th, 5th, 3rd, whatever it is that you're playing. And there's other RPGs that approach it the same way. Pathfinder, Icon, whatever it is that you're doing. Some GMs have a problem with this. Some GMs think that characters should only speak on their turn, or that everything needs to be communicated in character. How many hit points do you have? You don't know about hit points. Hit points aren't a thing. On a scale of 1 to 73, which is your max hit points, how injured would you say you are? Trying to force players into communicating in awkward ways, I find to be non-productive and not fun. The blooding mechanic is cool. If you want to do that, you say, are you bloodied? Yes or no. Or, are you injured? Yes or no. Basically, are you bloodied? The like sort of translating game terms into the diegetic terms that the characters would use can be a process, and it's for some tables and not for others. At my table, for what it's worth, I fully encourage players to discuss at their leisure what it is that they want to do, what they want others to do, to coordinate with each other, because I enjoy that aspect of the game, that sort of tactical teamwork aspect. Some tables don't like that so much, but here's my justification for it, and it's not just a gameplay argument. In the fiction, the player characters in my campaigns, at least, maybe it's different in yours, but in mine, these are heroes. These are battle-hardened, experienced, adventuring heroes. They know what they're doing. They know how to coordinate with each other in ways that we as players do not. And so if I say, okay, my character's going to come over here, and I'm going to ready an action to do this when one of my allies steps there. That is a way to indicate to both the game master and the other players that my character is doing something we've coordinated in the past. It's sort of an assumed flashback, that we have a battle tactic that we have set up before, and I am giving the signal that we're doing that. And it is up to them to do it if they wish. And so they're going to go up here, step in that spot. All right, now I'm doing my ready to action. Now that I have my flanking bonus or whatever it is that I'm setting up. This I find to be perfectly acceptable. It's a lot like when you make an intelligence check to see if your character knows something that you as a player do not. The characters are better at fighting and coordinating and battle tactics than the players are. And so you are allowed to have these sort of allowances, these indulgences that your characters can coordinate in ways that you at the table maybe take longer to do. Because, battle rounds in D&D, 6 seconds, that's not a lot of time to describe a situation, particularly in game terms. You move here and like counting out number of spaces. Your characters aren't counting out spaces. They just see how far it is and they know if they can get there in time. So there's that aspect. I think allowing table talk for strategizing is important because the characters are better at fighting than the players are. They're better at tactics than the players are. And so that sort of helps even it out and make sure that the characters are acting like the competent, powerful heroes that they are supposed to be. The other thing is that because of the turn-based nature of the game, it would be exceedingly difficult and very annoying to actually be able to communicate. Like, if you're only able to talk on your turn, let's say I go after my ally and I need to do something to coordinate with them. So they're going to do their thing. I can't say a word. And maybe they're messing up what I'm going to do. So then I get it back around to my turn. I'm like, hey, let's do this. And I go somewhere and set up. I have to wait a whole another round to get around to them to undo what they are doing and get back into the position. That's incredibly awkward, and it's only due to the turn-based nature of the game. Real life is not turn-based. And so we make allowances to allow characters to speak and communicate out of turn, because otherwise the turn-based nature of the game becomes diegetic in a way. If as soon as that happens, the characters have to realize that they are acting in turns in order to coordinate correctly. And that is going to be really awkward for that world, I think. I've toyed with the idea of like, what would happen if the characters realized they were acting in turns? And it's funny, yeah. There's certainly some possibilities there. It's not for my setting. It's not for my games. I'm not going to do that. So out of turn coordination is important for that reason as well. And the third reason is pretty simple. It's annoying to deal with. If my players want to talk about strategy, if they want to coordinate, if they want to plan ahead, I'm fully happy to let them do that instead of trying to be this like over controlling DM boss type to say, no, you can't talk about that. That's out of character. You don't know that. Or you don't have time to talk about this. You get to take your turn now. It's never going to be the way that I run the game. Maybe it is the way you run the game. I don't know. I probably wouldn't play in that campaign because I play D&D for a chill time. I'm there to have fun. I'm there to feel cool. And I don't feel cool when I have got someone breathing down my neck telling me to take my turn or telling me not to talk to the other people at the table when I'm taking my turn. It's not what I'm there for. So for those three reasons combined, table talk is always going to be allowed at my table. I think that is the best way to run the game. Allow players to communicate and strategize, even in situations where perhaps their characters could not. And even like we're not just talking about like, battlefield signals where you have to be able to see your allies. Even if characters are separated, the characters are smarter and more competent than the players are for the situations that they find themselves in. They are experienced adventurers. They've been in these kinds of situations before. They have a general instinct and a knack for dealing with these situations. And so combining the ideas of the entire set of players, not the party, because those are the characters. I'm talking about the ideas of the entire table, to sort of, have this set of ideas in the mind of the character that they're going to sort through and like pick which one they want to go with. If they're solving a puzzle and they're separated from the rest of the party, they're trying to get back, the character is going to examine a lot more possibilities than perhaps the player is themselves, because the player is not accustomed to these kinds of situations. They are accustomed to whatever their 9 to 5 job is, or schoolwork, or whatever is going on. Maybe they got distracted when it wasn't their turn, so they don't have time to think about it. Because of all these different factors translating to the game, the fact that the characters are different from the players, and the fact that it's just not that fun to be like pushed about your interactions with people, all three of those combine to tell me I'm going to let the players do crosstalk at the table. They're going to get to tacticize, to strategize and conduct and formulate their tactics live in the moment as much as they want. Now, obviously, at a certain point, just logistically, you have to move on. Like, if a player has spent 2 minutes and he hasn't taken any part of his turn yet because he's too busy thinking or talking, like, you prompt the table, like, okay, let's keep it moving. We can't be here forever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I've had GMs, like maybe this seems super duper obvious to you. Maybe like, why is he talking about this? This is a nothing topic. No, I've had DMs that don't allow that kind of stuff. And I think it's not great. I don't play with them really anymore. All the tables that I play at are pretty cool about this kind of stuff. So I haven't seen this in quite a long time. But yeah, just kind of a lighter topic. Crosstalk at the tables. I'm for it.